head out to Taqueria Ureli's. We just shot a video, pretty windy out here at San Pablo Park, but this is a taco shop. If you know me, I go to this taco shop probably 3 times a week, and so I've had a lot of crazy encounters here. And so before we head off, I really realized that when you put yourself present where God is, in the spaces where people are pressed down, or you just come with an attitude of being present and letting God do what he's going to do as far as evangelism, things just start to pop off. And this is like one of the most crazy places as far as ministry. And so we're going to head out. My office is right down the street. But before we get there, I got a lot of crazy stories about this place. One in particular, me and shout out Claudia and Lynette. One day I was telling them, I'm like, listen, stuff is gonna happen when we go down here. Like, it's just going to. That's just how it works. And so we're over at the taco shop, and we get there, and all of a sudden we're ordering our tacos, and this guy comes up to us. I forgot his name. I think his name was Tarian, and he's like, man, I know you. And I'm like, well, where do you know me? He goes, I know you from Cornerstone, and that's a church that I go to. But I was like, okay, so you know me from here, you know me from here, and all this. And he's like, yeah, I know you from there. And so we started, talking, and Claudia ended up knowing him because she had went to school with him. And so I didn't know that. I started talking with him. I'm like, hey man, you want some prayer? And he started talking to me how he got out of prison, and he was, out, and you could tell that he was kind of high. And all of a sudden I started saying, well, let me pray over you. Immediately when I started to pray over him, he looked at me, opened his eyes, and he said, Tarian doesn't want prayer. And I'm like, man, what is going on? And I told the girls, they're freaking out at this point. They're like, man, what is happening? And I started to say, well, does Tarian want to be free? Like, the guy was possessed with demons. And I started praying with him, and he started saying, you're a false prophet, you're a false prophet. And he's like, Tarian is no longer here, and my name is Simba. And he started manifesting demons. And so we started praying for him, and we're like, well, does Tarian want prayer? We don't care about Simba. And so we started praying for this guy, and eventually we were getting nowhere. We got in the car. We came around probably 2 seconds later. The guy had ran off. We don't even know where he went. And so that's just a little tidbit of the stuff that I've experienced here. I kid you not. I remember I was praying. We were getting out of the staff meeting. I was with my intern, Jamel. Hopefully he watches this. What's up, Jamel? And I was like, we're going to meet someone when we go to get tacos. And so we prayed, Lord, please bring us someone today. And I kid you not, when we got there, Jamel was leaning out. And Jamel, if you know Jamel doesn't like to get out of his comfort zone. He doesn't want anybody to bother him. But when you come in contact with God and you call upon the heart of God, God responds. And so immediately when we got there, we're ordering tacos, this guy just starts making small talk with Jamel, talking to him. Long story short, we end up talking to him about God, praying over him, prophesying over him. And, that's just how it works. Like, someone is going to come up to you. Something's going to happen. And so that's why I love this place so much. But we're coming up on Fresno and Belmont. Those of you guys who live in Fresno and know anything about the hood know that this is the hood. And so, and these are the best burritos. So we're pulling up now. We're gonna get a burrito. Let's see what's up. What's up, guys? I'm out in front of Taqueria Ureli's, and it's the home of the Anaconda Burrito. I have a quick story to share with you. So one day I was out here eating my Anaconda Burrito or my tacos. Listen, shout out Atabata Tacos. If you ever come here, you need to get the Atabata Tacos. But I came here and this guy pulled up, no joke. He came from the hospital. He got out of the car. I'm like, man, what's going on with that guy? And I looked over and he literally had a bullet wound right here. And so that's just a testament to how good these tacos and burritos are. So I recommend it fully. Come out here. But I want to share with you guys a story about ministry here. This is really a hot spot for ministry that I do. And most of the ministry that I do is I put myself in position for God to use me. So the places where people are hungry for God, I don't go to the places where people are, hassling me and talking crap on me and don't want to know about God. I think a lot of us as Christians, we want to go to the places to stand up for our faith and we beat our head against a wall by not going to the people that God is calling us to, but going to the people that we have in our mind that God wants us to reach. And so, if you know anything about this neighborhood, I won't go really into it. This is a confirmed neighborhood. This is a neighborhood where a lot of gang activity, drug activity goes on notoriously. And so this taco shop is right here. I remember one time I was standing in front of the parking lot. Oftentimes when I come here, I pray to God. I say, God, bring me someone here that I can pray to, that I can minister to. And this one particular time I had prayed for this guy named Benjamin. Now, Benjamin is an older gentleman, and he had come up to me asking me for some change. Many people ask me for change here. Someone probably right now will ask me for change. But I ended up praying for this guy, and he said he wanted to go to church, and he's like, man, I want to give my life to Christ. He gave his life to Christ right here in the middle of the parking lot. And me and the pastor from Cornerstone, Pastor Alex, were here. We ended up praying for him, prophesying over him. And I remember I came back a second time to the taqueria, and I saw him. Oftentimes you'll see homeless people hanging out in the parking lot, and the drug dealers, they'll sit on this cart and they'll deal drugs to them pretty much all day. And they'll be selling all sorts of stuff. I had a guy try to sell me, a basketball hoop on cinder blocks, and he was willing to get it in my car and all that. So you'll see a lot of crazy stuff. The same guy, he was sharpening. I walked up to him, he was sharpening his knife on the edge of the on the edge of the fence there. But I saw Benjamin, and he was talking to one of these drug dealer guys, and they were I was like, man, what's going on there? And I looked closer, and they put him behind a car door, and he was in his wheelchair. Now, Benjamin has diabetes, and he couldn't walk really. And so he's got a bad problem with drugs. And so the drug dealers, they had literally a crack pipe or a meth pipe, don't know which one it was, and they were wrapping it inside of a newspaper so nobody would see behind the car door. And they had a crack pipe inside, and they were literally helping him smoke weed or smoke crack, and because he couldn't move his arms or his legs. And so I really just wanted to share that story to say that there's really people out here in your city or in Fresno, if you live in Fresno, that need the love of God. I think sometimes we live in our own world and we see our own things, and we live in our own sphere. And there's people out here that are hungry for God. There's people that are crying out for God. I go in these neighborhoods and I pick up kids for youth group, and they latch onto my car, they jump onto my roof, and they want to learn about God. And the same thing with all the people that are out here. They're hungry for God. And so I just wanted to share that to say, if you put yourself present, you make yourself present, and you make the first move to tell people about God, God will bring people to you organically. It's not something that you have to go out of your way to try to force, but God will supply. If you're a person that's looking I want to save souls, I want to tell people about Jesus, Jesus will answer you. He'll bring people your way. So that's my story for today. I'm going to go and get this burrito. All right, guys. Peace.